You are Locked On 76ers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Wow, welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. Right here is the Locked On Sports Philadelphia, Locked On 76ers Postcast, and it's just awesome to have you along for the ride. I apologize if I lost my voice a little bit. I'm also the PA announcer for the Philadelphia Wings lacrosse team, and they only scored 19 goals the other night. So that's a lot of yelling. That's a lot of goal announcing. That's a lot of assist announcing on those goals as well. So hopefully the pipes loosen up just a wee bit during the postcast. But welcome into this Locked On 76ers postcast. And I'll tell you right out of the gate, I don't care that 3 of their wins this season have come against the Charlotte Hornets. I don't care. I don't care if they're a perfect 3 for 3 against the Charlotte Hornets so far this season, because the Philadelphia 76ers have struggled mightily throughout this year. And now they're a team that has won 5 of 7 over their last 7 games, obviously, while dealing with injuries from Joel Embiid, a sinus fracture. I know we were left looking for it in our last postcast. Last time on 76ers postcast, we were wondering what was wrong with Joel Embiid. Well, now we know. It's a sinus fracture after impact to the right side of the face. Yeah, that was the ruling when he left that game, right? And now after against the Pacers, and now we know that he's going to be reevaluated in a week. He's not going to be playing during that time. Sixers only play Friday again this week and then Saturday. So 2 more games left this week. So they have the back-to-back Friday and Saturday. But a sinus fracture, whatever that is, I don't know if that's a broken nose. Sinus fracture sounds a little pretentious. It sounds like, hey, you know what, Joel Embiid, we just found another excuse to rest you through December anyway. Even more so, even though it looked like he started to get it going a little bit for himself. But anyway, I am thrilled that the Sixers have won 5 of the last 7. I am thrilled that Tyrese Maxey and Paul George made Sixer franchise history tonight. More on that in a moment. And I am thrilled that Tyrese Maxey dropped in 40 points and really an all-around team win. I'll get into it more as the postcast goes on, but this was the perfect example of an all-around, check every box team victory by your 10-9-8 76ers on the season. So once again, welcome into Locked On 76ers postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. For all your postcast needs, I got you covered for your Sixers and your Phillies. Jason Martinez and Harry Mays have you covered for your Locked On Eagles postcast. So make sure you like and subscribe. And by the way, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter introducing the Locked On 76ers, a daily newsletter. One stop for the ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On 76ers newsletter. This particular episode is brought to you by Robinhood Gold. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. That's Robinhood.com/gold. Let's get into it. 3 big things right out of the gate. Number 1, I'm going to get into here. Like I said, complete team win. All-around team win. For the people on the podcast, I am showing off right now the box score of this game. And you see the obvious with the 40 points from Tyrese Maxey. You see the obvious with the 33 points by Paul George. But how about this? Everybody on this sheet doing their job. Gershon Yabusele even brought in 3 rebounds off the bench for the Sixers. Fine. No points, but fine. But look at this. Eric Gordan comes into this game. We were just chastising him the other day for not being able to help the Sixers at all. What does this guy, Eric Gordan, finally do? He only comes off the bench in a pivotal time to knock down a couple of threes and help get the Sixers rolling again in this game. Sixers were hot for the most part, a couple of lulls. But what you saw Eric Gordan be able to do in that third quarter was help really extend the lead to 21 points for the Sixers. He hit 3 threes in the third quarter to, again, help them get going. They were up 8 points. Next thing you know, Eric Gordan comes off the bench, knocks down a 3 to put him up 9. Next thing you know, knocks down another 3 to put him up 12, knocks down another 3 to put him up 15. and he just helped the Sixers get it going again in that third quarter. And this is a guy that has been ice cold for the vast majority of the month of November and into December. And now you've seen him actually playing for the first time tonight in December, I believe it is, comes off the bench and really helps the Sixers out in a huge way. And we were left wondering what he was doing on this squad, 35 years old, little confused. Yeah, first game in 2 weeks, and he finds a way to help the Sixers continue to lead in this game. 9 points in total, 3 for 5 from beyond the arc, and they were still leaving him out there. And he was still making them pay for that bad decision-making on the defensive end by the Charlotte Hornets. So that's one great thing to look at. The other thing is Kelly Oubre. My man, pots and pans, just 1 rebound shy of what would have been his 4th consecutive game with at least a double-double recorded. So Kelly Oubre, 19 points, 9 rebounds, also chips in with 4 assists to help the Sixers get it going in this game. Was absolutely a great performance from him when you talk about just 1 rebound shy of what would have been his 4th straight game with the double-double. So you love to see that from him. And then you continue to look up and down this box score, 15 rebounds and 9 points from Andre Drummond. Hey, Kelly Oubre, be a little bit of a spark when we need a spark. He's that guy. Hey, we need somebody to step up off the bench. Who could be that guy? Eric Gordan, you're willing to step up and be that guy? Boom, he's that guy. Andre Drummond, you got really one job while you're out there. Anything the Sixers get in terms of points is gravy. Andre Drummond also pulled you down 15 rebounds in tonight's basketball game. That is something special. So all around, great team win. And when I say great team win, those are the role players, if you will. Let's get into number 2. So first thing I want to highlight is what the Sixers were able to do from a role player standpoint. Great job by everybody there. The second thing I want to get into is Paul George comes away with a new Sixer high tonight, 33 points. You see it again, 33 points, was a plus 11 in total, was 6 for 9 from beyond the arc, 13 of 20 from the field, also pulled down 5 rebounds with 8 assists. This was, now granted, you might have played bigger games this season, but this was his best game. You might face more clutch opponents throughout the season than the Charlotte Hornets, of course. But for me, it's not even about who the Sixers are playing against. It's how they play. They come away with the win, which is obviously the most important thing. But Paul George did it all tonight. And there was one play in particular that really stuck out to me with Paul George. And it was a fantastic play that actually ended up being 2 points the other way. And I think it was for KJ Martin that finished it off. You had already had him rolling in the first quarter. He was doing a great job. Then about 1:35 left in the first quarter. You already have Paul George around 13 or 15 points at that point with 1:35 to go in the first quarter. They go down the other end on the defensive end of things. Paul George forces a turnover by baiting the pass. Forget who it was that had the turnover, but he baits the pass, jumps the lane, deflects it, comes down the other end, has an easy layup for KJ Martin, waiting for KJ Martin, and the Sixers were able to go up at that point 28-20, all because of a hustle and smart defensive play by Paul George. Heads up veteran Paul George on that play. That showed me the spring in his step that we haven't seen with great consistency this season, and we saw it throughout this game. As great as he played offensively, and no doubt that is the highlight, looking at a guy just be healthy, get his legs under him, but have great endurance throughout this game, that's what we saw from Paul George from start to finish. And that little play, that little nuance, even if you want to call it that, in that first quarter, helped put on display the idea that he was ready to rock in this game. And you saw him get out there to the 33 points, a new Sixer high for him. So Paul George, tip of the cap to you, friend. And then the guy that is stealing the headlines in this game, Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey, I was so happy when they fouled him in a meaningless foul that literally meant nothing except for the fact that you were going to see Tyrese Maxey go to the line and have a chance. He was at 38 points. He was going to go to the line for a chance of 40, and that's exactly what went down. Knocked down his 2 free throws to get to the 40-point marker in the game. The second time this year he has gotten to 40 points. I believe the 5th time this year he's gotten over 30 points in the game. So all in all, great job by Tyrese Maxey. And one of the things I really loved from him in this game tonight especially was how he kind of had a back and forth with Paul George. And there were a couple of instances where Paul George would either come up with a stop or Paul George would come up with a three or a lay-in. And then the next thing you know, Maxey would be right down the court and he would echo it. I think it was even Kate Scott during the game tonight that said, oh my goodness, it's just anything you can do, I can do also. Not I could do better, but I could do also. And you saw that game working so well for Maxey and George tonight. And there was one play in particular that it really stuck out to me. And this is, again, we've talked about this throughout the season about how Paul George, being that wing player, is that perfect player to have with a healthy Joel Embiid and then Tyrese Maxey, that perfect wing player. And when you heard Daryl Morey at the end of last year talk about going after a wing, we all know who he meant. This is what he meant in particular. And it was a great drive by Tyrese Maxey to get that dribble drive penetration just inside from the elbow. Instead of pulling up, he kicks it out for a corner three to Paul George, who is wide open, and Paul George knocks down the three. And that, again, got the Sixers making space between them and the Charlotte Hornets. So you saw it all tonight for the Sixers. Great team play. You saw a great performance by Paul George, and you saw Tyrese Maxey go out there and do exactly what he was supposed to do. Without Joel Embiid, this is supposed to be Tyrese Maxey leading the charge. That's exactly the way it went tonight. Paul George filled out the stat sheet. As I mentioned, he stuffed it pretty well. And then you look at some other things that the rest of this team were able to do throughout the night, and Tyrese Maxey was leading the charge in that regard as well. In total, you look at Tyrese Maxey's final 40 points on the night, 12 for 28 shooting, 6 of 12 from beyond the arc, 10 of 13 from the free throw line. I know I might sound like a broken record to some when it comes to Tyrese Maxey and what he's been able to do for this team, but I have talked about Tyrese Maxey begging for calls, fighting for calls, if you will. Well, guess what? It seems to pay off. Can't remember too many times in Tyrese Maxey's career where he has actually been able to get you 13 foul shots in a game. Not bad, Tyrese. Not bad at all. Coming up, I'm going to tell you about the history that was made tonight. If you didn't hear it, it is amazing considering how old this 76ers franchise is. A couple of players making history for your 10-9-8 76ers. Back in a second, this is Locked On Sports Philadelphia, Locked On 76ers Postcast, and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Back in a second. Robin Hood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. That's $5 a month. The new gold standard is here from Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. That's robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. You guys have heard me talking about BetterHelp before, and this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. A lot of people this time of year like to cozy up, especially on the East Coast, like to cozy up by the fire and keep warm, keep comfortable, and help their mental state, right? Well, another way to help your mental state, especially through the holiday, is therapy. Therapy is a great way to bring yourself some comfort that never goes away, even when the seasons change. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Myself, when I was a kid, I went through therapy for obsessive compulsive disorder. Talking to somebody really helped me, and now I have certainly been a lot better off ever since then. And you too could get some help with BetterHelp. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. So Take comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/lockedon. That's betterhelp.com/lockedonnba. How about this history by Tyrese Maxey and his new teammate, Paul George? They are the first Sixers teammates to score 30-plus points with 6 or more threes in a game. That has never happened for the 76ers. When did the Syracuse Nationals come to town? 1958? I believe it was 1948, maybe? I might be off by a decade. Either way, that's a very, very long time ago. And what I highlighted earlier, I finally found it. The Maxey drive and kick out was in the fourth quarter. George knocking down the three got George to the 30-point marker, and it got the Sixers to a 11-point lead, 106-95. And you saw Maxey have two guys collapse on him just outside the lane around the elbow, and he kicks it out to Paul George around the corner, a little up from the corner, and he is able to knock down that three. Next trip down the court, Maxey gets another 2 points of his own on a layup, and you just saw consistent scoring from the two of them throughout the entire night. And you knew things were off to a great start when Paul George dropped in 15 points in the first quarter and Tyrese Maxey dropped in 12. They had 6 threes combined, Tyrese Maxey and Paul George, by the close of the first quarter, and the Sixers enjoyed a 31-23 lead. They were off and running. I had, at no point in this game was I concerned that they all of a sudden were going to allow themselves to be upset by LaMelo Ball, for instance. You saw them go out there and continue to pour it on. If it was close at any point, you saw a Kelly Oubre 3, you saw a Sixers fast break, you saw something that helped turn the tides back in the Sixers' favor throughout this game. But seeing George and Maxey play as if there was no restrictions, see them play. There was one instance tonight, and I think it was in that first quarter, as a matter of fact, Maxey got called for the travel, where Maxey was going the length of the court. Paul George was coming down the wing appropriately, and Maxey looked like he wanted to throw the alley up to George, and as soon as Maxey left his feet, George started backpedaling away from the rim when it looked like Maxey was anticipating PG to attack the rim for the alley-oop slam. Not on the same page there. You saw the two look at each other immediately after the turnover, and then they got on the same page. They realized what one wanted the other to do. Maxey wanting what Paul George to do in that situation, which was attack the rim and get ready for the alley-oop. All in all, Maxey came away tonight with 5 assists, 5 rebounds as well, 4 turnovers tonight. When I was looking for things throughout this game that was showing you why the Sixers were going to be able to dominate this game, the first thing that I was looking at in this game was the fact that the Sixers' turnover battle with the Hornets was pretty even. And really, there was no statistical category that was just bonkers. Rebounds, for instance, the Sixers only were up +4 in the rebounding battle. When you talk about turnovers, they were dead even at 20 turnovers each. Points off of turnovers, the Hornets converted 24, or excuse me, allowed 24 to the Sixers 23. So it was pretty even in that regard. The one thing that you could say that the Hornets ran away with was points in the paint. And that was 60-48 in favor of the Hornets in this game. Fouls, though, the Hornets also committed 7 more fouls, 27-20 against the Sixers. But the number one thing that I take away from tonight's game is not that Tyrese Maxey can drop 40, because I knew he could. It's not just the fact that Paul George looked the healthiest that he has looked all season. It's the fact that you saw in a game without Joel Embiid, and a game where the Sixers also got awful news prior, yesterday or 2 days ago now, with Jared McCain going to be missing time, out indefinitely. You saw the guys that are supposed to lead this team. And you saw those two guys, with the exception of the play that I just highlighted, that turnover, look like they were on the same page more than they have all year. And you also saw Paul George just, again, look as healthy as he has all year. If this is the start of something for the Sixers, I know it's 3 wins against the Hornets. It's 3 wins of 8 total on the year. But again, I'm not looking at who they're playing. I am looking at how they look as a team. And now they're going to have one opportunity coming up on Friday to sweep this Charlotte Hornets team from their season series, 7 o'clock back in South Philadelphia Friday night. If Paul George and Tyrese Maxey play at this level, and you see this Sixers bench play as they did, if you see these role players play as they did throughout tonight's game, I have no reason to doubt that the Sixers are going to be able to go out there and sweep all 4 games against the Hornets this year, get them off the plate, bank those wins, and then hopefully get ready for a healthier second half of the season for your Sixers. And there really is one thing that I'm looking forward to in the second half of the year, and I know some people push it aside. Don't file me in with the people that are pushing this aside. This is something that I am very much looking forward to, and call me crazy. I'm not only looking forward to it, I think it's actually gonna happen. We'll get into that. We'll get into your comments as well coming up on the other side, but it is something that I might be the only person that's not only hoping for it, I might be the only person that's actually betting on it. That's when we come back. This is Locked On 76ers postcast on the Locked On Philadelphia YouTube channel. Back in a second. FanDuel. This is kind of a good news, bad news, good news situation with the amazing people at FanDuel. But first, all good news. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on NFL in one place to bet on the NFL. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, live play-by-play, and so much more on the very same page that you place your bets. All that with the amazing people of FanDuel. So you can get in on the action. Now, here's where we get into the good news, bad news, good news situation, okay? Good news. The Philadelphia Eagles are now the odds-on favorite to come out of the NFC. The Bills, unfortunately, are going off at plus 400 right now to win the Super Bowl. The Eagles are going off at plus 480. The Detroit Lions, who lost their second game, Lions are at plus 500. That's how that looks right now. As far as the MVP award, Josh Allen, this is the bad news. He's going off at minus 900. Lamar Jackson plus 750. Saquon Barkley, after the performance most recently, at plus 1,500. As far as defensive rookie of the year, I said good news, bad news, good news. Let's get to the good news. Quentin Mitchell, now the odds-on favorite to win the defensive rookie of the year. He is over Jared Verse. Right now, Quentin Mitchell going off at plus 110, Jared Verse at plus 150. Not too shabby. So get started with $150 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet at FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. As I said before I get into the chat check, this isn't just something that I'm hoping for. I know we're all hoping for it. I don't know if anybody else is betting on it. I'm betting on a healthy Joel Embiid for I'm going to say February on. I'm going to say January's a little rocky. Okay. I'm going to say February 1st and on. I think we're going to get a version of Joel Embiid that we have seen in the smallest of doses for the Philadelphia 76ers this year. In his brief 2024-2025 season stint, Joel Embiid, which is what we're talking about now, 6 games? Was it enough for 6 games? Yeah. We're talking about a guy, 5.5, if you want to call it that. 17 minutes against the Pacers, 12 points in that game. We're seeing a guy who's scoring 20 points a game, pulling down just under 8 rebounds a game, just under 4 assists per game. I'm still going to say for a guy not only ramping up, I'll say still in recovery, I still think there is an MVP caliber level of play in that man. And assuming you get Jared McCain back by the end of the season, that's another spark you could have off the bench helping this squad. But I feel like I'm the only person betting on the idea that not only am I hopeful Joel Embiid will come back and play at a MVP caliber level, I'm betting on Joel Embiid coming back and playing at a MVP caliber level. Give me all-star caliber even, but I have no doubt in my mind that he can get back to an MVP form. Now, do I think he's going to finish all of a sudden in the top 3? No, of course not. Talking about games qualifying, that ain't happened. That ain't happened. What did I tell you at the start of the year? It ain't happening. He's not going to play in enough games. Even before the sinus fracture, whatever that is, even before the impact to his face, okay, he got hit in the face. Even before that, I thought he's not going to play 65. The Sixers don't care about that. Nor should you or I at this point, especially if you're not going to the games. And the reason is the only thing that really matters now with the Sixers is whether or not they have a long and deep playoff push. That's it. And it's not just going to the second round and making it out of the second round. It's about making it out of the East and winning an NBA championship. That's the only thing that matters. And the only way that the Sixers really in the near future stand a chance of that happening is if Joel Embiid is 100% healthy. Hell, give me 90% healthy by the postseason. That's the only way that there's a chance. So the Sixers right now are looking at this with, okay, well, you take your time now and you recover from your sinus fracture. We'll cross our fingers for you. But still, not to steal Jalen Hurts' line, but the main thing is still the main thing, which is winning in the postseason. And the only way they're going to do that with any consistency this year, meaning that they actually win the first 2 rounds and then make it to the finals or conference finals and the NBA finals, is if Joel Embiid's 100% healthy. So the goal hasn't changed. He's just been banged up with something else. Add it to the list. From gastroenteritis against the Raptors in the playoffs, the quadruple doink year, excuse me. Or it's the broken face from the shoulder of Markelle Fultz, or it's Bell's palsy from this past playoff run, or now it's a sinus fracture. Sure, yeah, just be ready for the playoffs. Just be ready for the playoffs. I feel like I'm the only I feel like I'm on an island when it comes to thinking he actually do it. Let's get into the chat check here. What's going on? Crazy. On to the Hornets on Friday. They account for like half our wins. A little less than half. But yeah, I'm fine with that. Elliot, can we play the Hornets for each of the remaining 58 games? You know what? I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to write a letter to Adam Silver, and I'm going to say, hey, Adam Silver, nobody cares about your NBA Cup, okay? Can we just have the Sixers Hornets Cup where the Sixers just play the Hornets? That's it. Any game where Joel Embiid doesn't play, they play the Hornets. Can we all get on the same page? Anyway, thank you, Elliot. Crash Out Chronicles. I bet you 35 over under. What? Thank you, Crash Out. Matt Forstater, what's going on? I know it's crazy, but we have played well against good teams. The first Cavs game, for example, that's a great example, as a matter of fact. That's a phenomenal example. And you got a rematch coming up with the Cavs on Saturday in the second leg of a back-to-back for your 76ers. I agree, Matt. That is a good point. They have, this is Ellie again, good signs, maybe some wins against the Hornets. They will be, yeah, that's get right games. Get right games. Like when the Eagles beat the Browns, I didn't want to hear that it was the Browns. I didn't care it was the Browns. The Eagles had enough problems in-house where I just wanted to see them be on the same page. That's it. And now look at them. They've won franchise record 10 in a row. Elliot, I'm hopeful for a healthy Joel. I might not bet on it, but I'm still hopeful. Okay, so you're in the category, I think, of most fans where you're hoping for it, but you're also in the category of most fans that are not betting on it. I am betting on it. Crazy. I think this is in reference to me betting on Joel Embiid being healthy for February 1st and on. And they call me crazy, Mark. Yeah, how about that? Either way, your 76ers come away with the 120-108 win over the Charlotte Hornets, their 3rd win over the Hornets, their 8th win overall in the season. Just like that, the Sixers have been out of the basement for a little bit. Not too bad. Also, by the way, the Sixers really did take control. I didn't mention it in the 3rd quarter of this game when they outscored the Hornets 41-30. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I'll be back with you guys Friday night 76ers play host to the Hornets at 7 o'clock. That game's in South Philly, so make sure you guys take advantage of that, especially with the Game Time app. And use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. It'll be the 4th game of 4 that they'll play this year. The Sixers go for the clean 4-game sweep of the Charlotte Hornets coming up 7 o'clock Friday night. Now, after that, I mentioned it earlier, they got the back-to-back. First, they got the Hornets, and then they got the Cleveland Cavaliers for a rematch of their heavyweight title fight, if you want to call it that. That'll be Saturday night in Cleveland, so the Sixers will go right back out on the road to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Sixers lost 114-106 in that game earlier in the season. That's where Jared McCain went off, as a matter of fact, for 34 points in that game. So the Sixers will need Kelly Oubre. They'll need Eric Gordan. They'll need all hands on deck to come away with even a competitive battle that time against the Cleveland Cavaliers. By the way, as of right now, the Cavs are 23-4 on the season. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I'll be back with you guys come Friday night for Sixers Hornets, 4th game of the year. Hopefully a perfect 4-0 against the Hornets this season for the 76ers. See you guys Friday night. Bye.